Deadlock is a very unique game in the competitive multiplayer space because it's a fusion of several different genres. It's primarily a MOBA, but it's also considered by many to be a hero shooter, and it's even classified as a hero shooter on the official Steam page. It also has movement shooter and fighting game aspects to it, among several other things, and it's overall a fantastic game, but that makes comparing it to other titles extremely difficult. I like to make game design analysis videos on this channel, and I often find myself comparing Deadlock to other hero shooters like Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, and Paladins because, well, that's the environment that I came from. I was never really much of a MOBA person. But whenever I do that, I always have many detractors who claim that Deadlock isn't actually a hero shooter, and so comparing it to these games makes no sense. These people view Deadlock as being too much of a MOBA to ever be considered a hero shooter, but how valid are these claims? Is Deadlock truly a hero shooter? Today, I want to do a deep dive on Deadlock's gameplay design and compare it to other hero shooters to see how much hero shooter blood is running through this game's veins. First, we need to define what a hero shooter is. There are plenty of examples of hero shooters on the market, and many of them play completely differently from each other. A lot of games are actually a fusion of two different genres, like Apex Legends with its Battle Royale setting, or Valorant, which takes tactical shooter inspiration from Counter-Strike. These games play completely differently from one another, and yet they're both classified as hero shooters. So what do these games have in common? To understand what makes a game a hero shooter, let's take a look at the game that has unequivocally defined the genre since its release in 2016, Overwatch. Overwatch is undoubtedly the purest example of what it means to be a hero shooter, and many of its game design principles echo throughout all the other hero shooters out there. So, what makes Overwatch a hero shooter? Well, it all comes down to the characters. Hero shooters have distinct character designs with unique abilities that they can use on cooldowns, including an ultimate ability that has a major impact on the fight. Hero shooters also have distinct archetypes of heroes, like tanks, supports, and damage dealers. Team play is extremely important, and players are encouraged to synergize their abilities together to win the game. The various classes support each other, and teams usually fall apart without a healthy balance of character archetypes. Shooting is also very important, obviously. Every hero has a unique weapon that they can use to blast enemy heroes. Some heroes are designed with an emphasis on skilled ability usage, like Doomfist and Lucio, while others have a bigger focus on gunplay, like Soldier 76 and Bastion. And the last important thing is that hero shooters have a slower time to kill than pure shooter games to emphasize strategic ability usage. The existence of healing makes players take longer to kill, and fights are generally more drawn out. All of these traits are what define Overwatch as a hero shooter, and they run through every other hero shooter game on the market as well. While Overwatch certainly has other aspects that many people highly associate with hero shooters, like the ability to push a payload to the other side of the map, those aren't actually core to the hero shooter experience, and as games like Apex Legends and Valorant show, the game mode isn't actually as core to the identity of the hero shooter genre as are the characters. So with all of these attributes in mind, how is Deadlock not a hero shooter? Everything I just said about Overwatch is true in Deadlock too. All of Deadlock's heroes have stunning, unique designs with distinct abilities and ultimates. While the game doesn't have rigid classes, many heroes still fit the tank, support, and damage archetypes. Deadlock heroes generally have a little more agency than in other games, but team play is still massively important for taking objectives and winning team fights. Comboing ultimates and other important abilities together is often how teams end up winning fights. Shooting is also a core aspect of Deadlock's gameplay, and many heroes like Haze and Venator are entirely designed around their gunplay. Deadlock also has a much slower time to kill than other fast-paced tactical shooters, but this is also where the game differs the most from other hero shooters when it comes to the hero shooter attributes, because Deadlock's time to kill is much slower than Overwatch, and that's because the game is also a MOBA. This is where a lot of players get tripped up when trying to consider Deadlock as a hero shooter. While it has all of the core elements that make it a hero shooter, it also has most of the aspects that define the MOBA genre. Players make money and level up throughout the match, and they spend their money on items to define their build and become considerably stronger. There are multiple map objectives, and games take much longer to complete. Players can spend time farming NPCs to make extra money, and they need to push waves to control more of the map. Players can tackle side objectives like the Soul Urn and mid-boss to gain an advantage over the enemies and win the game, and in general they have to focus on macro-level gameplay, efficiently rotating around the map, farming money, fighting players, and pushing objectives all at the right time. In particular, the extra build crafting component that Deadlock has makes it much harder to see it as a straight hero shooter. However, hero shooters have historically had advanced build crafting systems. Paladins, which was undoubtedly a hero shooter, had unique loadouts, talents, and items that players could use to customize their character. Paladins also had players making money throughout the match to buy upgrades, though the experience was much simpler and didn't require macro farming knowledge. Overwatch, the poster child of hero shooters, also implemented Stadium Mode, which is similar to Paladins. Players have dozens of upgrades they can buy for their character over the course of a long match. No one would dare accuse either of these games of not being hero shooters, despite having MOBA-like build crafting systems. I think the final nail in the coffin to the argument that Deadlock isn't a hero shooter is the fact that Deadlock doesn't limit you to the full MOBA game mode. There's also Street Brawl, which is a casual game mode that plays much more like a conventional hero shooter. There is no macro gameplay in Street Brawl, just pure PvP akin to Overwatch or Marvel Rivals, but with Deadlock's unique flair. Players still get items, but they don't have to worry about farming, and it plays kind of similar to an arcade roguelite, with random upgrades and legendary items not featured in the regular game mode. Street Brawl plays like a hero shooter game mode, but instead of pushing a payload, you're shooting a tower. The core gameplay of having a bunch of heroes all fighting each other with abilities, ultimates, and guns is exactly what Street Brawl is. Ultimately, Deadlock is both a MOBA and hero shooter game. It's its own unique fusion of both genres, with a bit of movement shooter and fighting game flair thrown in for good measure. This is why it's fair to compare Deadlock to other games in both the MOBA and hero shooter genres. It borrows and evolves gameplay design aspects from both genres to create something unique. In that sense, it's actually very similar to games like Apex Legends and Valorant, because those games also combine hero shooter elements with other genres like battle royales and tactical shooters. Deadlock just does what they do, but with MOBAs, and it does it really, really well. But anyways, what do you think about Deadlock? Is it truly a hero shooter as I've described in this video, or is there something that I've gotten wrong? And if you agree that it's a hero shooter, is it fair to compare it to more conventional hero shooters like Overwatch and Marvel Rivals, despite it also being a MOBA? Or is it just too much of a stretch to compare these games even though they are technically in the same genre? I would love to hear from you in the comments section down below. If you thought this video was interesting, of course, make sure to drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos from me. And with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out.